Hello, Jedi Knights and Sith Lords, and welcome to the Star Wars Artifacts show. Tonight, we break down Ahsoka Episode 4. It was a pretty cool episode. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. So, we're going to bring in Eric right away and be able to. Hey, there he is. That's my man. A quick
Sorry, I
check
always
on
got to
Mike.
do my test to make sure that the sound's working, and I check our feed, but I am here.
Excellent.
So yeah,
So, I guess it's safe to say that we both liked the episode, right?
yeah. I mean, I didn't dislike the other episodes, but I preferred this one over the other three so far for sure. I mean, I felt the story developed a little bit more. We got a little bit of fan service and everything like that, but I thought the
Hmm.
lightsaber battles were good, and we'll get into the details of that, but.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought we're moving along a little bit now in the story. It's unfortunate it took half the season to get there, but
yeah.
I guess we can mention it now, and I'm sure some people have seen that episode 5 is going to be available to watch to screen in theaters.
Hmm.
So it makes me wonder: is it going to be a longer episode? Like, are people really going to go out to the movies for 32 minutes?
I don't
Um,
know.
yeah. So like, I have a feeling it might be a little bit of a longer episode, and it might be something that is visually stunning that it'll make it more
Yeah,
interesting to watch in theaters because it's just weird. I don't remember them doing that with any of the other Disney series. Do you?
I don't think they have. No,
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a little
or perhaps they will recap. Episode. I don't know, with 3, 4, and then play 5.
I guess they could. That would make about 2 hour
I wouldn't
event
mind to
before.
see that. Yeah, on a big
But
screen. It could be fun.
Marie, who was there coincidentally, hi Marie. I think she was
Hey,
saying that it's not in any of the theaters around us, right? So
no, it's not available in Canada.
hmm.
It's only in the US. So
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, and we can just speculate for now until next week. But I have a feeling if they're doing that, it's going to be a longer episode, probably a 45 to 50-minute one, and then maybe
yeah.
again more visually stunning, maybe more air like space battles or something like that, which will make it more
Hmm.
visually appealing. So who knows, right? So, but let's get started with this. Again, we've already got a few subscribers that have jumped on board, and
Yeah.
we're still trying to reach our mission to get to 2,000 YouTube subscribers. So hyperspeed towards the 2K, and the winner will I guess once we get the 2,000 subscribers, we'll be holding a contest to draw one of these two busts. So we'll have a draw, and whoever wins will get to choose which one they want. One is the regular L3D, and the other one was the exclusive. You were saying, Dom, I think
Yeah,
from.
SDCC exclusive from
Okay.
last year, so from 2022.
I have a feeling, given the choice, what most people will pick, but I mean, who knows, right? So, and
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a collector, I would definitely pick the one with the red pauldron. But if you like to, display them, the other one could be interesting as well, especially if you have the Kylo Ren bust, and you could buy also the Vader and the Imperial Stormtrooper. So you can make like a cool display with the two, the two. I want to say Sith because Kylo's not a Sith, but the two bad guys and their troopers. So
yeah.
that could be interesting as well. So
So, to add to that, to help us subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you have us on Facebook, feel free to share. I think we have our post on there. We will be once in a while refreshing the post as a reminder for
hmm.
anyone who might have not seen it, who subscribed later. So, again, anything you can do to subscribe, and hit the notification bell for us, share anything you can do is greatly appreciated. We also have a subscription to the channel that you can subscribe to. Again, it's $4.99. You'll have early access to interviews and content. For some that don't know, there's probably, I don't know, 6 videos already queued up. So, in the
Mm-hmm.
event that you do subscribe, we'll give you access to maybe some of those and extra little perks. So, besides that, we also have the wonderful t shirt that designed by House of Naboo and Maggie, who was on the show.
Yeah.
And I think there's someone wearing that T-shirt today. It's not me, but
Yeah. Yeah.
once a rebel, always a rebel, and the famous line that we finally got to hear.
Yeah. So
Um,
I called it last week, and I guess I was right.
yeah,
My instinct served me well, and yeah, we got to hear it. So if you wanna back Era's quest to keep peace in the galaxy, buy that T-shirt and show your support.
I don't have that T-shirt because I'm a bad guy, so I, rebel scum is just not for me. But
Yeah, yeah, I know, but I'm a double agent, so I can
yeah,
have both.
but we have other T-shirts available on there as well. So if you go on the Star Wars Artifacts, I think it's SW Artifacts. If you
Hmm.
look on Redbubble, there's about I think 3 designs that are already on there, and we're working on more.
Yeah,
So hold tight, and you'll see if you're a little bit more into the villains, then there'll be something for you soon
we have
enough.
our gold logo, Galaxy's Edge
Yeah,
edition
our Galaxy's Edge edition that is
out there.
actually on the way. If we're lucky, we'll have it for next week's show.
I hope we do.
Yes, because that means we'll have it for our trip as well.
Hmm.
And one last thing, I'll keep that for last actually. But what we can do is actually get started on the episode, which was called
All right.
Fallen Jedi. I'll let you start, Dom. On
All right. So, well, the episode begins with Hu Yang and Sabine trying to fix and repair their ship. They are now stranded on Cetos, and they cannot communicate with the New Republic. So the comms are down, and and that picture, is about Ahsoka trying to make Sabine understand that it's not about Ezra.
again another reminder that it's like
Yeah,
it's funny. I had
what
the
is
had
it,
the
like
picture
third or
of
fourth
Hu Yang
reminder? Yeah.
before, but it's I don't know. I guess I didn't have it. But yeah, again that reminder
So
of like it's not about your personal feelings, right? And
the
Ezra,
goal
it's
is to avoid allowing Tron to return as the heir of the Empire.
yeah,
And she specifically says the words "heir of the Empire," which is the word the title of Timothy Zahn's novel back in the days. The novel that introduced Tron to the Star Wars universe. Now it's a book that has become one of the
Legends,
expanded universe, yeah,
yeah,
legends. But it's a nice little wink to Timothy's work, and that's why they are trying to prevent. So there she is, saying that if we can't make the journey to find Ezra, well, nobody should be able to go there to
yeah,
go to that
exactly,
galaxy. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, at this point when we're developing, obviously like they have we know they have the map, and it's only a matter of time before they start making their quest there. I thought we were going to get a little bit further along in this episode, but I'm fine with what we got instead.
Hmm.
We basically got what we got. We just left us on a cliffhanger. I thought we might finish with Thrawn, but I think there's no way he's not in the next episode based on what we
Oh,
saw in
for sure.
his but this whole episode for me was just so many good quotes, and that's why I've started kind of putting the subtitles in
Subtitles.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this one was sometimes we have to do what's right regardless of our personal feelings. Again, I felt like the whole beginning was kind of like a grooming of like, hey, this is about to go down. Don't forget. Like a constant reminder to Sabine, which anyway, it didn't really.
Well, that quote echoes something that Anakin tells Padme at some point in the prequels as well, when he's trying to seduce her a bit in episode two. You know, he says something that sounds like it's not the exact same words, but the meaning. is pretty much the same. So
Hmm.
I thought it was a cool sentence. Yeah.
This is what I compared when in our chat afterwards to Real Steel, the the robot fighting movie with Hugh Jackman.
Or the Rock'em Sock'em
Yeah,
robots.
exactly. The Rock'em Sock'em robot fight, which is pretty. It felt pretty even to me. It didn't look like there was anyone that had any kind of advantage. You'd think that maybe Hu Yang would have a lightsaber, at one point,
Yeah, it would
but
have been cool if he had a saber. Yeah, it would
then
have
he would
been
have
pretty
made short
useful.
work of the other one. But
But it reminded me as well as the T-800 versus the T-1000 in Terminator.
yeah,
I mean, when he put the face of Wu Yang, deep in the ship, it's like, wow, okay, that's cool.
but to go back to this shot, this is the part where they said that. I mean, Shin had said that they had located their camp, I guess, or where their ship was, and she said to
Yeah,
send. And Morgan made a point of saying that
the
those
guards will make
yeah they'll
won't
make
last long
short work yeah
against.
they'll make short work of the guards, so which obviously sets up like quite a scene. So I mean, obviously here at this point we have Ahsoka and Sabine that came out to help out Huyang against all these guards. um, and then we have this scene which I thought was pretty interesting. I'm trying to remember where this guy I didn't have a picture of the front from him, but I'm starting to wonder if he wasn't in um, Ted Lasso, one of the soccer
Oh, that's
players.
possible. Yeah, I didn't get to see that series yet.
Yeah, so I'm trying to wonder if he's one because he's not using an accent, but he just looks really familiar. So basically, she's going off to help him out, and I think against their, I guess not their orders, but she has no authority, I guess, to do it. But she's just saying, and I think she echoes that to Jason afterwards.
Yeah.
When you're a general, you can you can do what you want, kind of thing. So, or you can break the rules.
But
Um,
yeah, so that's a pretty deep Easter egg you have there.
oh
So
yeah, and it,
on
it
on
was
console.
it was deep because it was hard. So I saw it online.
Hmm.
But it was hard to snap this pic. It is like a millisecond. So the person who saw that, it's pretty impressive. Some people just break down every little graph, and I was wondering, I'm like,
Every frame, yeah.
yeah. So like, is it like something? I was trying to make sure it wasn't like something that was symmetrical, like it was maybe just a piece, but no, it's a photo that's on there of someone that hasn't even been mentioned, right?
Hmm.
So far in this series. Do you want to give us a little bit of a reveal on who
Well,
that is?
so yeah, for those of you who haven't watched the Rebels animated series, Era was in a relationship with a former Jedi named Kanan Jarrus. Uh, well, his real name was actually Caleb Doom, but he changed his name after Order 66 to remain anonymous. Um, so Era visibly has a picture of him hooked up on her, flying console, and yeah, it's a nice wink, and it's the first time they acknowledge the existence of Kanan in that series,
Well, except
because
for
I
the
thought they would have
painting, right?
mentioned him. Yeah, yeah, well,
Yeah,
obviously, yeah, for the painting, but I mean, I would have thought that she would have mentioned him when she spoke to her son
Jason.
Jason,
Yeah,
and so and there's also the little armor pauldron that Jason is
that
wearing
Jason
that
has. Yeah,
is identical to Kanan's. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And look who we have here,
yeah, that was a bit of a
my
surprise.
buddy.
This
Yeah,
was
my
more of a
buddy Paul
surprise than the
Uncle
ending for
Lee.
me.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a little bit more. I guess in hindsight, not really, but I was a little bit more surprised to see him than what we ended up getting in the end. That I thought was just inevitable, but this was it was a fun surprise to have him back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So hey, we have Steve joining us online from Relevant Studio, and Steve is on vacation in the Dominican Republic. So
Oh,
thanks for joining us, Steve. Hope you're having a great time in Dominican Republic.
I think it's actually
And
hotter here than it is there right now. So.
it could be because it's really hot over here. Yeah.
Then there's a few other pilots. I didn't get them all, but this one you said is
Yes.
yeah,
Well, let me put something else, a bit of context, because Era leaves, and we think it's only her and her son and Chopper, and then there's like five X-wing coming right behind her, and for a brief moment I was like, "Whoa, okay, are they trying to stop her?" No, it's Carson and his buddies, joining Era in their quest to help Ahsoka and Sabine. So they leave, and yeah, we have well, we can go back to the pilot picture. Yeah, so one of the pilot is Brendan Wayne, our very own Mandalorian, who is without his Beskar armor. So Brendan plays the Mandalorian, when he has his helmet on. Obviously, Pedro Pascal is the voice of the Mandalorian, but they gave him like a cool, appearance. So he will be immortalized. His face will be shown uh, for probably the only time if you watch the episode completely. So yeah, it's pretty fun to see that he'll be featured without his Beskar helmet on. So
They
yeah,
have they
it's
have two of them, right? They do the Mandalorian, one that's more of a fighter, one that's more of a stunt, I guess, or something. And if I
yeah, the
remember well.
stunt actor is like his name is Latif. I'm forgetting his last name,
Hmm.
but yeah, so he's the one who walks, with the demeanor of a true cowboy, I guess. So
Yeah,
and Latif is the one who does the
the
twirls and the
battles, and
jumps and the battles. So yeah,
this was our famous line. I had to put it in there. Once a
there
rebel,
it is. Once a
always a
rebel,
rebel.
always a rebel. Yeah, that's cool.
Don't forget
So
if you want the T-shirt
yep.
available. Keep shamelessly plugging the
Shameless plug. Yeah,
T-shirt.
that's it.
Um, so it's gonna follow here, and then use those. They obviously weren't alone. So they had
Yeah,
a.
so you see the X-wing on the left portion of the image, but we get a nice view of the New Republic fleet. So
Mhm.
uh, right in the middle, we have the ghosts, and the big ship in the back is Home One. So the same ship we've been seeing for quite a few times since the beginning of that series, but also the ship where the meeting with what happened in Return of the Jedi. It was Admiral Akbar's ship during the Battle of Endor, so it's a pretty big or pretty important ship. So
Mhm.
on the bottom left of the that picture, we have a blockade runner, so same type of ship as the 10TV4. At the bottom right, where the planet begins, we have a Nebulon B frigate, which is also called a medical frigate at some time because that's what its purpose was in Empire Strikes Back, when Luke has his hand repaired or installed, I guess, call it as you want.
Yeah.
And the other ship at the top, right above the home one, is the command ship we saw in the very first shot of that series, the one that Balin and Shin rampaged. So yeah, a lot of
Reminds me of a
cool stuff
StarCraft when
to
you're trying to
notice
build
there.
a fleet to send out. Like you got all your
Yeah.
med, you got all the ships and everything like that. It's well
Mm-hmm.
done. So I posted a lot of these, or I mean, I took a lot of shots just because I felt like, I mean, obviously we can't read into everything that he said, but a lot of this stuff I think is kind of hinting at some of his past, but vaguely, right? So Faith, I lost that a long time
Mm-hmm.
ago, right? Like so, you know, have an idea what he's referring to, but what exactly, like what happened? You want to know more about this guy. It makes the character
Yeah.
even more intriguing, I thought. And we were just saying it before, like what a shame that just we know that the screen time we're gonna have with Balin is limited, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they're trying to set up here. You could see. Oh, I just noticed that you could see it through the ship there. Um, wow.
Yeah. And it looks. I don't know what you think, but it looks like the Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, yeah, it's
You
true.
know.
And then the Purgles in the design there. So obviously trying to find the coordinates to where they want to go. So they have to kind of like decrypt it on. You can see here the droid calculating the hyperspace coordinates. So it's obviously this what's delaying and allowing the battle to go on. Your typical kind of like storyline or
Suspense.
plot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't want them to reach that. And then we have Sabine and Ahsoka that ran into got through the guards and then had Shin come out. I thought it was very kind of like quirky, like going
It's a
somewhere.
bit
Like I'm like,
cliche, but
yeah,
yeah,
but it
it was the
was.
perfect timing
They were
to
just
get that
chilling,
line. Yeah,
sitting down, waiting. They go, all right, here we go. So it was just really cool to see that. And what I called here our Darth Maul. Except he didn't take
moment.
out. Yeah, he didn't take out one at a time. But had he done that, would have been definitely interesting to see that, and maybe you would have even hinted at something. But we'll get to that maybe a little
I
bit later
almost
here.
heard Duel of the Fate, begin when he
Yeah,
ignited the lightsaber.
yeah. So true. And this you wanted to. I took a shot. So basically, we have Sabine going her way with Shin, chasing
Yeah,
after her with their blasters. Shin's deflecting, and then we're left with Ahsoka, and she's fighting.
yeah.
Yeah,
So Sabine uses the same type of blasters as Bo-Katan, which are Westar 35 blasters. So yeah, it's a little. I don't know if you can consider that an Easter egg, but yeah, it's pretty cool to see that they still use the same type of weapons, throughout the series. So
I should have tried to go back and look at what she was using it on Rebels. I assume it was probably the same thing.
yeah,
Um,
true.
so again, the battles they're each going on their own. I thought this was a nice shot. Everything was framed, so it's funny because I'm the one that does all these shots, and a lot of the times I can tell the different styles of cinematography. And I thought that this was a cool framing. You don't get exactly everything because I have to cut off a little bit of the edges, but you see it's between the two trees. I thought that was a really cool scene. So
Yeah,
anyway,
in the
he
pose, Ahsoka's pose with the lightsabers, above her head, uh, is the same pose that Anakin used when he fought Dooku in Episode 2, with his two hands right above his head.
yeah.
And yeah, and well, she did a better job because Anakin ended up losing an arm after using that pose, and Ahsoka had the best of
Yeah, so
Marok.
we got our typical Inquisitor spinning the weapon. Find that never works out for any of them. But,
True.
the usual kind of spinning, and meanwhile, they're fighting along not too far away. It was just probably like maybe 100 feet or so, not too far is Shin
Hmm.
fighting Sabine at this point. She's taking out her lightsaber. And there he goes with
I would
this.
just say the battle scene was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I thought this was my well, all three kind of battles. So whether you be Shin and Sabine, Ahsoka
Marok.
and Marok, yeah, I keep forgetting his name, and then even later the battle that came in afterwards. I mean, I thought all three of them. My favorite one was the third one,
Yeah,
but
true.
there was this one. I mean, obviously cool to see the Inquisitor lightsaber at work, and then whoop, that had a little bit of a Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul
Mo.
feel to it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of unclear at first what happened. You just saw he was slashed, but then he really was split in half. Ironically enough, like we are just talking about Darth Maul, and then we had the green smoke kind of thing come out, and I'll let Dom segue into the next part here.
Yeah. So it immediately triggered some memories from both the Rebels and the Clone Wars animated series, because green smoke is often used when with the use of magic, not magic with a C, but magic with a K, the kind of magic the Night Sisters use.
The
And
witchcraft
we,
and
yeah,
whatever.
that's it. And we all know that Morgan Elsbeth is a Night Sister, so she might have brought Mara back to life through magic. And that the green smoke is what we saw when Kanan and Sabine were uh, somehow possessed by the old spirits of the Night Sisters. So it reminded me of that, and it also reminded me of Savage Opress's death. Uh, when Darth Sidious, Palpatine, killed Savage in the Clone Wars, we saw, because he was enhanced with magic by Mother Talzin. He was a lot more skinnier at the before that, and they transformed him into a killing beast. I guess we can call him like that. So And when the magic left his body, he returned to his original shape or appearance. So uh, I guess that's what happened to Marok. But is Marok dead? Does that mean that Morgan could bring back other deceased character or a
Whose kind of
certain
spirit
Tron?
was in there, right? Like I
Yeah,
guess I don't
a
know.
certain, there's a lot of theories running wild on the web with
Yeah.
Darth Maul because
Well, I mean, they have to
uh,
continue with new theories because the whole theory of him being XYZ character that, everyone was
yeah,
thinking it could be, it obviously was not. And I think what this does is, as much as like we see later with another thing, it opens the door to possibilities. You're introduced to this kind of like possession of a body or whatnot, and we might see it. I'm reminded of like Grogu, like how they released the episode right before episode 9 came out, purposely to say, oh look, Jedi's have
the
healing
Force
power.
healing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So they're like they wanted to show it because otherwise would have came. The fans would have destroyed it. They
Hmm.
probably still did, but like saying that, like, whoa, Ray can just heal people now, right? Like, this was the whole point with the Emperor, right? Bringing people back from the
Hmm.
death and healing and all that. So, I think it's an introduction to this, and probably going to play a bigger role maybe later in this series or maybe in the movie that's going to be coming up. But I don't think we've seen the last of it. But it's fun to move on. I think we have 4 episodes left. We can move on from Iraq now and go on to different speculations, I guess. So
Hmm.
this, Sabina told Ahsoka to take off and to leave her to fight Shin, but she was too late. Morgan had already left. And then this probably my favorite scene of the whole series so far. This
Hmm.
battle, this face to face, this exchange of conversation and just was incredible. Like to me, like
Taunting each other, I
oh
guess.
man, it was so good. But like it's funny because the whole time he's talking like and he says something like with this was inevitable, but like it's just like you could see he doesn't want to do it. He even mentioned in the early episode like it's going to be a shame that
Yeah,
she has to be killed or that she has
killed.
to
Yeah.
die, but like you can see he doesn't want it and he would much prefer to be allies with her. But like it's just like and he's doing it like nonchalantly, takes off his robe and just like basically, all right, well, let's do this.
And from his point of view, he's doing the right thing, and from Ahsoka's point of view, she's doing the right thing. So
But what's the right thing he's
that's where
doing
they
though,
both
right?
collide.
I
Hmm.
guess that's what we got to know. What is he doing?
Yeah,
And that's what
because
we.
he seems perfectly fine with bringing Tron back,
But he said
knowing.
it's something else, right? So he's doing this, but he knows he's gonna get something. I think power. What would he say with the Shin in the first episodes?
Power beyond
Or imagination
our
or whatever. Yeah,
imagination. Yeah,
something like yeah. But like it's so there's something there. He's got an ulterior motive like to this, right? So he's getting something out of the return. So it's I don't know. Does he know that Morgan? Is there something where he has an arrangement already with Thrawn in the past? Is he? I don't know. So I guess that's what we need to know. But these quotes that kept getting rattled off, like the only reason I'm here is to secure the future. Like what is he talking about, right? Like it's just
yeah,
very very intriguing. And moving on, so it's an unfortunate evil, but speaks to a greater truth. Like, man, I'm like, dude, spit it out. I want to know what you're talking about. But like I said, such the mind games and he's being cryptic in what he's saying. It was such a good interaction. I found between the two. One must destroy in order to create. We just spoke about that for another reason earlier. But man, just makes it so much sadder that like we know this character his time is limited in this series for whether it'd be for just overall his character or like we know that he's
yeah.
passed on, right? So we're not going to get too much more of him. So very unfortunate. But then the battle started, which again, in my opinion, probably one of my favorite scene that we've seen. But like again, we also spoke about the battles afterwards, how it felt a little bit more raw, not the whole choreography of your prequels, right? Like your
Yeah.
Anakin, Obi-Wan type stuff. So, what did you think about that?
Well, I like the different stance they use during the battle. I mean, they go at it for three shots, and then boom, they change the stance. Another three or four shots, boom, they change the stance. And the way Balin uses his saber reminded me when we play Jedi Survivor with when Cal has the long sword.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, the different
the way
stance
he
and
holds
style.
the way
Yeah.
he holds the saber, yeah, it's pretty reminiscent of that. So, and you know, he has brute force and size, and you know, Ahsoka is more of the athletic type. So I don't know if you got the shot, but she puts 1 feet on
Against the rock
a
to.
stone, yeah, against the
Yeah.
huge rock just to counterbalance herself.
Yeah.
And you know, when Balin pushes her, so it must be so hard to avoid being crushed by Balin's hits.
But it's like you said at the
Uh,
beginning, they kind of like test their like in an MMA fight. Usually the fighters, unless it's something crazy, they test their distances and
mhm,
they start gauging, throw a couple fakes to see how is this person going to react before moving on to maybe the second round. Like, okay, now I know what I'm up against, and that's exactly what happened between the two, kind of like testing each other out to see. Okay, well, okay, he's strong like this, and okay, she'll block this. All right, let's get
mhm.
going. But this scene here was kind of interesting too, where after bested, which I think was right to have Shin best Sabine in the lightsaber battle,
Absolutely, yeah.
and then after that, Sabine
She
puts out her
pretends
hand.
to push her, yeah, and
She moved
and
away,
she
right? Like
almost,
it was,
yeah, she was expecting
yeah.
something,
She
and then she
flinched.
like realizes that no, you have no power. That's what exactly she says. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty good, but that's Sabine being pretty clever because her hand is already up in the air, and all she has to do is lower her fist to release, like whistle birds, like Mando has
hmm
whistling birds. So, and she catches Shin completely off guard, and she loses her lightsaber as well. So, she did the same kind of she resorted to those tricks. Yeah, that's it. When she trained with Kaden in the Rebels animated series, because since she doesn't have any force power, she has to use uh, different tricks, and she has to be more clever
the hybrid
than
way of
her
fighting, right?
opponents. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the Mandalorians, they built the Beskar armor to be able to fight Jedi's. So I mean, and they use different techniques to get the best of the Jedi. So on that scene, she uses like a
Like a
whip or a
grapple or
lasso,
something. Yeah.
yeah, just to grab or to retrieve the dark saber and continue fighting Kaden. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent,
So for the obviously the
pretty good
people
idea.
more casual fans, that's Kanan, the one we were talking about earlier, and the dark saber, which obviously we've seen in the Mandalorian series. Which, if you haven't watched Rebels or Clone Wars or whatnot, I mean, this is something that we've seen for quite a while. The dark saber is not new to the Mandalorian, so
Hmm.
highly recommend it to go back and watch this. Especially we got another 4 episodes of this, and then
Hmm.
no Star Wars for quite a while, so you got plenty of time.
Yeah, especially with the strike still going on.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is getting postponed, and we were supposed to get other projects. If the shootings or the work with the actors and the scripts are done, they might be able to finish the post production. But
Was the
I don't
acolytes or
expect anything. Well, it was, yeah, Acolyte and Skeleton Crew.
hmm.
So I think it
uh,
was supposed to be Skeleton Crew before Acolyte. So
and Andor they hadn't even really done filming that, right? I think that was
I don't think,
stopped or
yeah,
something.
I think it's
Yeah.
stalled, yeah. So
So getting further into here, again, another quote: "Your legacy, like your masters." I thought I had to put the whole quote in here. Is one of death and destruction. You can unravel that comment, and make of it, whatever you want. It's just I thought it was super interesting.
I
And
think it's fair toward Anakin, but I don't think it's totally fair toward Ahsoka. I mean, she's done
Well, he's probably
or
referring to the Mandalore and whatnot, or whole past that
yeah.
it's like, so who knows what, but it's just, I don't know. It's we could talk about this one for days, but just like
Mhm.
the continuous comments and like taunting and talking and trying to like get in her head and weaken her in some way or another. But she obviously at one point gets it the upper hand on him and grabs the, what do you call it, orb or map
Yeah,
or
the
something,
sphere,
like, yeah,
yeah.
which
So
burns her hand. Uh, I mean, quite badly from what we could see to grab that,
yeah,
and that stops the feed of the coordinates to what do you call
Morgan.
it? The ship that's up there is the
It's
Scion.
the
Is it
Eye of
the
Sion.
eye? Yeah,
Yeah,
the Eye of Scion. So yeah, I should remember that after what you referred the other one to before, the Eye of so yeah, so that stops the feed of obviously the coordinates that the droid who was trying to get,
yeah,
and that's when Shin shows up and Sabine's like Ahsoka's like, Sabine, because Sabine's not there, so Ahsoka, you could only, or she could only assume that maybe is dead at this point, right? So
yeah, and it triggers fear for Ahsoka
yeah,
because if she's there, it means she got the best of Sabine. So she taps, I guess, a bit into the dark side and force pushes Shin into one of the stone. I don't know how to call those, but
yeah,
yeah, the
pillar or whatever it
stone
is there.
pillar. Yeah, that's I
Yeah,
guess that's a good word. Yeah, and she knocks her out, and well, it triggers obviously Balin, and he says something like "you should have done that" or something like that, and
yeah,
he gives it a go at Ahsoka, but now she can only use her right hand because the other one is injured.
yeah.
So
Because she tried
it
to
gives
force push him or something, and got nothing out of it. She looked at her hand, like remembering that it was like kind of burnt or something. It's like it was a,
yeah, yeah, and she's in pain, so she cannot grab her saber with her two hands as well.
yeah,
So it gives Balin somewhat the upper hand. And then, well, yeah, there's like a maybe a shot with when Sabine arrives that is missing because
yeah.
she tells Sabine to, well, obviously she's relieved to see her alive, and then she tells her, well, destroy the orb. But
This
Sabine,
hesitation.
yeah, she puts her gun right on the orb, and she says she tells Balin, to back away from Ahsoka, and he obviously doesn't listen and throws her off that cliff. And well, we don't know until a few moments later what happened to Ahsoka, but then the temptation of the devil happens.
Well, it's sweet. Well, it's not sweet talk, but his continuing his talking just like he was doing with Ahsoka, but with the, I guess I don't want to say a weaker mind, but like a more vulnerable
Yeah,
mind. He brings up Ezra. Clearly knows about the story and everything like that, and it's just so he knows exactly what to say to her, and he sounds empathetic. To a point where like he's like, this is the only way, and if you destroy it, you know that like you can say goodbye to Ezra. So the whole three episodes before and the beginning of this is like,
all the warnings of
yeah, it's not about Ezra. Can I trust you to do the right thing and all this stuff? It's just in the
out the
end,
window.
boom, there you go, and that was that. So he places the orb back, sphere, map, whatever you want to call it, to complete the coordinates for Morgan, and he destroyed afterwards
Yeah,
uh, the the
in
sphere
order that
map. Yeah,
nobody is able to follow them. So
yeah. So it's funny how he holds it really like his saber, even before when he's holding it right at the edge, right, not at the bottom. Like,
mm-hmm.
have you noticed if you noticed that? But so yeah, it destroys that, and here comes the cavalry afterwards. A little bit too late.
Too little, too late. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was supposed to say.
yeah.
So yeah, Era was traveling with Jason and Carson and the rest of the X-wing pilots. They arrive, and they arrive basically just in time to see the Eye of Sion jump into hyperspace, and
I forgot
you
something.
know
What did he call her? You should have mentioned
Uh,
that before.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He called her Phoenix leader,
Yeah, yeah. We
which
should
is a
have mentioned that
reference to the
before. Yeah.
Phoenix Squadron cell into the Rebel series. So yeah, he referred to it, and then it says locking S foils into combat position or something like that,
Yeah.
and it's the exact same quote as I think it's Red Leader said in episode 4. So I'm sure Paul Sung Hoo Lee had a little
Geek.
fanboy moment
Yeah.
there, saying that that quote or that line because you're saying a pretty iconic line, for the Star Wars universe.
And here we have Sabine. They make their way up to the ship with Morgan, and she's at this point in binders, or what do you?
Yeah,
Uh,
so when he was trying to convince her to give her the orb back, he says, "If you come willingly, no harm will be done to you." And
oh yeah, I should have put that if I missed that.
he always kind of
He's a man of his word.
yeah, yeah, he's a man of his word because
Shh.
when Shin woke up, she tried to force choke Sabine, and
After she gave the orb too, like it was like,
yeah,
yeah, she was like, and he was like, I'm a man of my word, and let her go. I told her there was no harm that was gonna come to her. So it's
that's it.
almost like he's protective of her in a way, right? Like
Hmm.
he feels he can probably mold her into something. So I guess we'll see. I mean, obviously not, but I guess we'll see where that leads and what his strategy is going to be. Because now they just have her, I guess, as a hostage on here. That I thought was a really cool shot to take.
Yeah, really cool shot. Yeah.
And also, the ghost is part of that part
That
of the
one,
ship.
and when the ring left the planet, it came out of the clouds. That was
Yeah, yeah,
another
yeah,
amazing shot. It
yeah. That was
reminded me
nice.
of the Rogue One movie when we saw the Death Star arriving. I think it was on Jeddah before they tested the Death Star for the first time. We saw the Death Star with the clouds, and yeah, it was really cool shot. So
There's a nice shot. It's like an art shot that someone made, and it have like a star destroyer that's coming out of the clouds like that. I don't know if you've seen it,
no, okay,
but I'll
no,
try to take it. I'll try to bring it up one day. But I wish I had that as a poster. It looks really nice. Just like so you have the sun that's above the clouds, and then you have the star destroyer that's right above it. So like it's all lit up,
okay,
and yeah, it looks really
wow,
cool. So this is something we'd never seen, I guess, before. So we've seen in episode 8 what happens when you're using light speed to go through something,
through a ship, yeah,
but when you're in, I guess, the shape of a ring, and you're gonna basically go around everything, I guess, or or
hmm
like,
that's
uh,
true.
yeah, obviously sends a major shockwave, and that's when we lost a couple of ships that spiraled out of control here. We have two of the
Yeah,
X-wings.
we don't know who survived. There were two X-wing that survived. Obviously, I expect Carson Teva to be in one of them.
Yeah, we saw him. I think after this, there was a shot of him. I could be wrong. I thought it was like the Greedo looking guy and the girl. I think that's who it was, but I'd have to rewatch the scene to see if there was any more
Yeah.
clues to that. But it'd be cool though. I mean, if we still got the Mando actor to play a little bit further into the
Hmm.
role. So obviously devastated. They know. I guess basically at this point their mission is failed. They know what it means.
Total phaser. Yeah.
Yeah, to have Morgan leave, and they know where he went, and it's inevitable what's going to happen now, right? It'll be most probably
Yeah.
the return
Yeah. They return
of
of
Thrawn.
front, so then they know that they're going to pick him up and
And they can't
bring him
follow. I
back. So
mean, they can't go there and stop anything. It's
they
just a
don't
matter
have
of
the
time.
coordinates. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. So
it's sit and wait at this point to see
all they
what's
can
going to
do is
happen.
yeah, get ready, prepare and prepare for some one heck of a battle. I would assume. So
Good.
even little Jason, is maybe hinting at some Jedi instinct when he says to his mother, "I have a bad feeling."
Yeah,
We didn't get the about this
yeah. I was
as we
waiting to
usually
say.
do,
I was waiting
but
for that also, but yeah, he goes, "I have a bad." He goes like, "Mom" or whatever, I have a bad feeling, and it's just like, "Uh-oh." And I think, yeah, clearly they seem to be hinting at that, or if not, open the door to whoever takes over this afterwards, right? Or the movie, depending on the timing of the movie or whatnot. So,
mhm.
and then this is the big scene that generated memes after reactions of all this stuff, and which was funny because I actually created my own meme for on our Facebook page, which was like basically, hey, everyone, don't spoil anything. And the next day, boom, Star Wars Facebook page doesn't even hesitate and shows our friend here at the end. But
Yeah.
this is the part where and Don, maybe you can enlighten the more casual fan, because I mean I've seen Rebels once, Clone Wars. I think one playthrough. I've watched a lot of it, but only one real watch through, and it's like, so when I watched this, I was like, okay, well, where was she, you know? And then I had the, I guess, the privilege of being in a Discord with four other people that knew exactly what it was and correcting me. Well, not correcting me, but told me exactly what it was, almost simultaneously. Well, it's the world between worlds, and what is that exactly, or what's your best description of it?
So it's a place between I mean, where time is, and space don't exist. So our Marvel fans out there could say that it's the closest thing as we have to the multiverse, but it's not the multiverse as it doesn't give access to different point or different versions of what
Times,
could have
yeah,
happened. It's not a what if
different
situation. I mean,
timelines and stuff like that,
yeah,
or yeah.
it can give you access to stuff that happened in the past. We saw a few examples in the Rebels series when Ezra travels to the world between worlds. He's able to save Ahsoka from almost certain death when she was fighting Vader. So he pulls her in the world between worlds, and when she goes back, she kind of knows what to expect, and she's able to survive the experience or the meeting with Vader. So you literally saved Ahsoka's life. So it helped create a bond between Ezra and Ahsoka. But before he returned her into the her point in the timeline, I would say they saw what happened to Kanan. So, well, I guess it cannot be a spoiler if I say that Kanan is dead at that point in the series. I mean, the
Well, no,
series
I
is out
mean,
for
unless
like
you assume
four
that he's
years,
in
4 or 5
Acapulco for the
years.
whole first four episodes or something, but like,
Oh yeah, Niamos.
no, he's in the Dominican Republic with Steve.
Oh, yeah, with Steve. Okay,
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's
I mean, yeah,
possible.
you would assume that he was part, and again, we don't have the other member of Rebels as well that we still haven't yet to see, but I think maybe we'll see him if there's a battle that happens, but
Yeah.
we'll leave that for the
So
next episode.
yeah, and he tried to save Kaden, but before he does, Ahsoka helps him realize that if he saves him, all the rest of his friends will die from a huge explosion.
Hmm.
So he has to leave him there in order to survive himself and to protect Era, Sabine, Zeb, Chopper, and one or two of his friends, I guess. So, uh, his sacrifice could not be, well, it was inevitable. So,
Yeah,
uh, it couldn't change the past at that point. So, and then she awakes. She kind of gets back to her senses and the world between world, and we hear a little faint voice. I mean, if your TV volume was not too high
yeah, I know. It's the
and you
same
didn't have
thing.
the subtitles, you never hear it, but you hear hello Snips. And well, for those of us who watched the
Clone
Clone
Wars.
Wars
Yeah,
animated series and even the movie, you know, we know that is the
nickname, but
nickname that
yeah,
Anakin gives Ahsoka because she's always, snipping around and yapping, and
yeah,
so he calls her Snips. And well, it kind of revealed that it was Anakin speaking to her. So from that shot, I think everything looked fine.
yeah.
Uh, but then
We,
we see the aging happening,
yeah.
and
So let's. I mean, I guess slightly little bit of an elephant in the room. I was happy to see him, but I was a little bit distracted by the way he looks. It's just it looks like a de aging kind of gone wrong. I don't. It's like it just
Or
had
he
that.
looks like a cinematic in a video game.
Yeah. So for me, I had the same impression that when I saw Luke in season 2 of
Mando
Mando,
season 2, yeah.
and I was just like, oh, cool, but man, and then you get Book of Boba Fett, your Mando 2.5, where it looked incredible.
Hmm.
But from what I understand, speak to Nico, the guy that they used to kind of correct what happened in the I guess the outburst, because as soon as it happened and we saw like the not the de aging or like the what do they call it there, the um you put some face on someone else. But when we saw that in Mando 2, uh, there was a lot of uproar, and then they showed people that had redone it and did it better than they did.
Better, yeah.
And there's this guy that was very popular on the internet for doing that.
He
And
got a
Ash,
job at ILM.
yeah, exactly. But from what I can hear, he's no longer with them, or maybe they didn't
Yeah.
work with him. So it kind of shows, and it's not bad. But the thing is, Jackson, and he notices everything, and right away he said he doesn't look good. He said that because I showed him, like,
Wow.
did you know Anakin's back? Like, Anakin's his favorite character.
Hmm.
And the first thing he said when he saw him, he's like, and not even this shot. Like, so obviously it's
That's
a
right.
still you don't see. He goes, oh, he doesn't look good. And then he saw that, and you could see in his face, he was weirded out. So I guess like father, like son, right? Like I got distracted. I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm happy to see him. I'm just like, what the hell's wrong with his face? So, I mean, I looked at a bunch of shots online, and like it looks like the bottom half they didn't really de-age that much because he started to have those older lines like around the mouth, but like
Hmm.
and then they kind of blended the top a little bit too much, like
The
those
forehead, yeah.
yeah, like those Instagram filters that are very popular. So it's just a little weird, but nitpicking. It's cool to have him back, but there are some little details that if you're listening, put this in the comments if you're watching after the live. But what do you think about what he has here around his waist? So we know he has a scar, so you can't really see it here. But I watched it on a high definition television, and it's clear as day that his scar is there
Yeah.
on his eye. So it kind of speaks to what version a little bit we're having. But that lightsaber that's there, I mean, there's you, and I wish that we had Nico as well to chime in on that lightsaber because we
Hmm.
didn't talk about it yesterday. But what are your thoughts on that lightsaber that's there?
There's not enough of brushed metal on it, so it kind of gives me some Vader vibes. And, uh, because the saber he uses in episode 3 is all silver instead, except for the black stripes he has as a grip at the bottom of the saber.
Hmm.
And that saber also looks to be hooked on upwards to his belt. And I was speaking with Marie Claude MC from House of Naboo yesterday evening, and you know, she had a good point saying that only Darth Vader hooks his lightsaber upwards. All the other Jedi have it, with the emitter pointing to the ground.
Hmm.
So
So
yeah.
that's an interesting detail, and the Filoni wouldn't have missed something like that, right? Like
Oh no, for
it's
sure.
yeah. So that's something that's very, very interesting, and for those who obviously caught it at the end, I caught it without obviously the closed caption, but your subtitles confirms it. The very last thing you hear is
It's like
Vader's
the
theme.
Yeah, it's like the first three notes of the
Yeah,
Imperial March. So
so it's like
it says Vader's theme,
why
but yeah,
why did
Imperial
we
March.
hear
So
that, right? So indicating there's all signs are pointing that whoever whatever version of this of Anakin this is uh might be something that she's gonna have to confront, and like you mentioned, you referred to
hmm
uh I think it was it's an Empire Strikes Back, right? When he goes in the cave on Dagobah to
yeah,
to face the Vader, which was, I guess, a reflection of himself or whatever you want
Hmm.
to call it. And then um, what's the other one that I had just spoken about? Well, Ray in
Well, it was Ray,
episode
yeah, when she goes down
the
the
cave with
water
the
cave, yeah.
yeah, and has she faces her own kind of like call it face your own kind of demons or whatever. Like so, like there's
Hmm.
those kind of like um, interactions very comparable to like what could play out, but I think all the signs are pointing to the fact that like he almost looks too kind of hey yeah it's me, then all of a sudden like remember like Ray
Yeah,
the
it's like the
evil
devil in
Ray.
disguise, right?
Yeah, but like there was like the evil Ray that like had to she faces well in
Yeah,
episode 9
9.
her,
Hmm.
so it's like all of a sudden you're gonna see he's gonna get meaner or something. I don't know, I feel like something's that would be super cool, but maybe that's just be
Yeah,
for me.
I would expect that we're gonna, start right from that point in the next episode, and we'll see an interaction between Ahsoka and Anakin.
If he throws a
But
saber over his shoulder, I'm turning it off and I'm never watching Star Wars again. I'm just gonna say if they left it on that cliffhanger and he throws a saber over, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
okay, thank God the probabilities are pretty low
Yeah.
that this happens. But I wouldn't be surprised that after a little conversation, it turns a bit sour between the two of them.
Hey, if we can
Uh,
get a live action battle of Ahsoka versus Anakin, I mean the closest we got, well, closest we did get it in our I guess the animated series when she fought him.
in
Um,
Rebels.
yeah, in Rebels. Was that
Mhm.
season finale of season 2? I
Season
think,
two
or
finale,
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
That man, if you watch one episode, or was it 2 episodes of finale,
You
or
should watch the last two, yeah.
yeah, the
Use it
twos,
together,
you'll be a
yeah.
little bit lost because I mean, Darth Maul is there and everything like that. But man, if that episode was epic and just like emotional, and I remember like it was a lot, very much like the Obi-Wan cutting open the mask of Darth Vader. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'll let you watch it, but very good episode, season finale of or the last 2 episodes of season 2 of Rebels. But if we can get a live action version of that, Anakin versus Ahsoka, oof, and it'd be fun to see Hayden Christensen do some lightsaber battles as well. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
so
It could be pretty epic.
yeah, definitely interested in that. I put a couple more shots here. I mean, if you wanted to talk, but here's an example: Ezra
Yeah,
with
that
Darth
that's
Maul, and
incandescent green smoke. Yeah, with the magic from the Night Sisters.
mhm,
So yeah, it really gave me some of those vibes when we saw. Obviously, it was not as iridescent or as fluorescent as that, but yeah, I mean,
Matt,
it's
he's saying that she thinks the next episode is going to be very emotional. So I'm not going to go watch it. We can't watch it in theaters, but maybe you might want to bring a box of Kleenex if you're going to go. And
yeah.
hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see a little bit of a Padme in there, Maggie, right? So
Oh, that would make
yeah,
House of Naboo's day. Yeah,
yeah. But
a little flashback. But yeah.
so overall, what did you think?
Well, I think that this episode should have been merged with episode 3, to be honest. I love the episode. I mean, it's a great episode. It moves the story forward, as you mentioned, right from the get go of the show. But I would have liked those two episodes to be, one big episode to give us one more episode
Yeah,
uh, in the entire series.
but
Because
are they a
now we
victim
have
to
the feeling
their?
that things are picking up. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess we'll see Tron next episode. I mean,
but I
it
think
could
that
be by the very last frame, but we'll see him.
I think what's happening is that they're becoming a victim to their 8 episode formula, right? So what you see a lot is like
Mm,
and some
definitely.
comments I've read is like people think these should just be movies, but the thing is I find there's not enough time for it to be a movie,
Yeah.
and there's it's too much time for it to be a series without having all this filler and kind of development that happens, and not everyone has the Andor formula where it was just like
Hmm.
perfect, the development of the characters, you grow an attachment to the characters. But I think this one is like, I don't know, it was a little bit drawn out at the beginning. You had to recap for the people like we've spoken about who haven't watched Rebels or Clone Wars, but um, I,
Yeah. So well, yeah, those two, episode, they shouldn't have count as the first two episodes of the series if they use a 8 episode formula. I mean,
yeah.
it should have been like a little introduction for those who have not watched Rebels. But episode three should have been episode one, I guess, in that case. So, or just go until go for 10 episodes.
Well, so
So
so yeah, I mean, I think that the core of the of what they want to show and what they could shoot in terms of like the action of what you need to know is probably something that holds up in about 4 to 5 episodes. And then after that, from there, they're like, okay, well, how do we turn this into eight? Like, we need to make this 8 episodes, or else people are going to complain five is not long enough or whatnot, right? So, Obi-Wan was
yeah.
6. Is that it? Am I?
It was six, but
Yeah.
it was like a limited series, and
Yeah.
it was advertised as a limited series.
Yeah.
Ahsoka has not been advertised as that, so I would assume that it's safe to say that we'll get a season two.
Yeah. Depending on, I'm pretty sure we will. And especially if we get thrown late and there's much more to
Yeah, probably
add,
not next year, but yeah,
yeah,
maybe in 2 years from now we'll get I got
fill
to
it
see
in
what
before the
happens.
movie or something.
Mhm.
So I guess we'll see what comes out of that. I agree. I mean, I thought this was my favorite episode of the four to date. I mean, was it mind blowing? No. I mean, to me, I had I knew it was only a matter of time before Anakin was going to be in there.
Mhm.
Again,
Yeah.
I got a little bit distracted by the CGI and all that stuff. But I mean, overall, it was fun to see him. What's fun is to get the details afterward, noticing the and Jackson noticed a lightsaber right away. Again, blowing my mind that like
Wow.
he said he's like, oh no, his lightsaber. He goes, that's Vader's lightsaber. He said that, and I'm like, what? I'm like, you saw that? Because I said, I'm like, did you notice the lightsaber? And he goes, yeah, that's Vader's lightsaber. It's not Anakin's. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't even know that. I'm like, I know Dom and Nick would probably pick that up, but right away, and like you see that in a flash, right? Like that
Oh
scene
yeah.
that you see was very brief. So like the I guess the cut from her from this
Hmm.
is what 3 seconds, 3 4 seconds, and he
Yeah.
he
No more.
picked out that he looked weird and he noticed a lightsaber, and I'm like, man, I'm
Mhm.
like, I gotta watch this with him, but
Yeah. Why not?
it's just too late years, unfortunately for him. But it was pretty cool that he noticed the lightsaber, like he looks at it and he spots all the details right away. So we're gonna have him on the show one day, I guess, maybe to give us the
Could be
Easter eggs.
fun.
But it was really cool though, like that he noticed that, and for me that's the fun part. That with the Vader theme that ends the episode, just like, oh okay, wait a minute. So like things aren't hunky dory so much. We're happy that
Yeah.
they gave us a little fan service or whatever you want to call it, but like where are we going with this? And I think that it could make for a very interesting episode coming up. So if we have Thrawn this coming up and this kind of confrontation of this interaction with Ahsoka and Anakin, it could be
Hmm.
one of the better episodes we've seen in one of the series. But I don't want to.
If they want to show it in theaters, I would assume that they already know what they have in hand. I
Yeah,
guess, and it's a sure value. You
Matt.
know,
If it's a 50-minute episode and we have a battle of Ahsoka versus Anakin, we'll remember this
people are gonna
moment.
go
This
nuts.
this this
Yeah.
10 seconds we just spoke about next week, which by the way, next week will be our last episode before going on break for one
Well,
week.
1 week for you
Yeah,
and 2 weeks for me, because
yeah.
yeah, we'll be leaving for Batu pretty soon. So
So actually, while we're talking about that, let's go back. So again, shamelessly gonna plug the T-shirt again. Once a rebel, always a rebel. I mean, we had the quote this week. There's no reason why you shouldn't have the T-shirt. Again, support the channel, the group, and Mahi's work. And again, our contest, 2,000 subscribers. We forgot to mention super chats at the beginning, but as always, we have super chats available. So try to share, like, subscribe, anything you can do to help support the group.
spread the word.
But next week, actually, so A good
Well, let's
segue
talk
into
about
that.
what's going on to happen tomorrow, I
Yeah,
guess.
Friday. So your video on Friday.
Yeah, so tomorrow's video will be a friendly discussion with Lady in the Star Wars galaxy. Well, her name is Joanny, and basically, she's on Instagram, and she has one of the biggest Star Wars clothing
Yeah.
collection I've ever seen. You'll find out in
Yeah,
if you
she
watch
tells us in detail.
the interview how many items she owns.
Yeah.
I thought I had a problem with my 80 something t-shirts.
80. I have like five, six in my drawer. And I was like, oh man, I can't go to work wearing another Star Wars T-shirt. But this is, it's crazy. But it goes with what she does, right? She's a content creator. She's on
Hmm.
Instagram, TikTok, on Facebook. We'll have the links for you tomorrow in the description of the video. But always cool, and I find she just even really started evolving her videos to something else. I don't know if you noticed in the last couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
like she's doing some really cool stuff and giving exposure on some really cool brands that are out there, clothing. So and we'll let the interview speak for itself, but very
Hmm.
interesting conversation that we had with her.
But as you were kind of hinting, I guess,
Yeah,
next week, Joanie will join us to break down episode 5. So she'll be in for a pretty big episode. And well, you'll get to know her even more. And she's still owning her Star Wars knowledge skills.
yeah,
So it'll be fun to talk with her about that, and that will be the last episode before the 1 week hiatus. And Eric will be back live on I guess Thursday, September 28th. But he will be alone, I guess, as Marie will join him for this episode. So they will have two episodes to cover,
yeah.
the one from the 21st and the one
Before the
from the
finale, yeah.
28th.
So
Yeah.
Maddie, get ready. We're gonna have a lot of work to do. So big shoes to fill in there with Dominic.
And who knows, on the 28th, it will be my last day on Betsu. So I might have my 2 feet on the table watching your podcast
Oh,
with the Millennium Falcon right in front of me. So
nice.
perhaps I will be screaming at my screen, if you forget to mention some of my Easter eggs.
I'm
But
sure you're
I'll
gonna
correct the
watch it.
situation.
So, but what I was thinking is like when we'll be there. I mean, I think it's a no brainer because I don't know if you're aware, but when you're on the resort, you have Disney Plus right in your room. It's Curtis,
Yeah.
obviously, right? So, we have to have a watch party somewhere. I don't care where,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah, for sure on the 19th,
yeah.
right?
So, and then after that, it'll be you when you have a little bit of free time to just fire off your Easter eggs and what you want to make sure that
Well,
Maggie and I
if
include.
we have that watch party, grab the pen and the paper. I'll give you some hints for the day, the week after the show. So.
But it'll be cool to have a watch party, like the whole team, or
Hmm.
most of the team that'll be there, and we'll be able to talk about it.
Yeah,
So
Nico will be there, and we'll even have Sam
S-
Mino from Star Wars on Direct,
Stefan
and
and
Stéphane Beaulieu. Yeah, so
a lot of people crammed in
I
your room. It'll be in your room too, I think,
yeah, I
because
guess it'll be my room
yeah,
because
ours won't be will be 4 or 5 people per bed or something. So, but
yeah,
yeah, it'll be definitely cool to watch it over there. And I think wait, that's the Thursday. Oh no, so that'll be it. I'll get to watch it, and then that'll be it for me for the
you'll get to forget about it for the rest of the week, and then
yeah. Unless I reschedule my Epcot from and go back when hey, it's not impossible. I did it when I was there. I rescheduled one of the parks. I was like supposed to go to Magic Kingdom, I think a second day, and I rescheduled it for something else like the day before. They don't really care. You just change your park and that's it.
yeah, sure.
So who knows? Maybe I'll be so hyped after spending the day knowing I'm not going back and be like, oh no, I gotta go back to Batu one more time. So
Well, yeah, I guess why you would do that. I mean, I'm going on the 19th on the 21st, and then I'm going back 1 week after on the 28th, just the day before I jump back on the plane and come back here. So uh, it's gonna be pretty emotional. But I wanted to have one last day right before I leave, to stare at the Falcon and let a tear roll down.
Breathe
And
it in, man. I remember when we were leaving Hollywood Studios, and I was like, I was like leaving back to like Galaxy's Edge, and I'm like where the like kind of like the rock entrance is, and I'm like, well, this is
yeah,
it. I remember saying it to my wife, and I'm like, this is it. This is the last time I'm gonna see this for who knows, ever,
I don't
or
know.
a long
Yeah.
time, or just like, I mean, it costs so much money, right? Like, and so I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
who knows? And I was just trying to take it in and take it in, and even when I was there, sometimes just trying to sit down. Obviously, it's gonna be a little less. I don't want to say less stressful, but I mean, I don't have to manage the kids and all that stuff and worry about what
Yeah.
other people doing. I mean, we're pretty much doing our own stuff, but like, I know I'm gonna have that feeling again on the Thursday when I leave, and just saying, man. But
Hmm.
at least I have an out. So at least if I want to go take another dose, I think I'll be okay. Honestly, 2 days there, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I have a feeling it's gonna be a because I really don't know when I'll go back after that. So
Well, same for me, and I don't even know if I will ever get back. So
yeah,
I will have to make a sponge out of myself and absorb
yeah.
everything I'm gonna see. So hopefully I'll get to go back, but
There's not
the odds are against me. So
the you know what? To be fair, before we log off, I mean we'll just finish with this, but to be fair, Galaxy's Edge is not massive,
hmm.
so I yes, there's stuff, but you know enough about it to try to seek out what you want to see when you're there. I didn't know as much as I know
Hmm.
now after reading, like, let's say, the book and some of the stuff like that, and learning more about Galaxy's Edge afterwards. But so I do feel like I had left a little bit on the table. Something I didn't go see the docking bay, like the things like that, where I wish
Hmm.
I had experienced certain things. Even Olga's Cantina. I mean, I didn't have drinks there. I just went in and had two things early in the morning with my kid, fruit kind of drinks, stuff like that, and kind of felt a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah, yeah.
rushed. I had to worry about what the kids and the other family was doing. I have a feeling I'm gonna get my dose of it, and like I said, there's not a ton of it. It's not massive, so 3 days. I think you'll have more than enough.
Yeah.
But you're gonna
Well, technically, the third time I'm going, I'm gonna do like all the stuff I haven't done at Hollywood Studios in general. So I'll go see the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular
yeah,
thing, and all the other stuff outside of Galaxy's Edge. But I know for sure that I will end up by the end of the day back on
at
Batu, and
night lit up with
yeah,
the
and I just to see
by
the
the Black
Falcon
Spire.
once again. And
Yeah,
I think I made a reservation at Olga's as well for that night, so
yeah.
I'll be able to have one last exotic drink from Olga's long list of recipes. So
Well, all right.
it should be fun. But yeah, I can't wait to be there.
Enough about us. I'm sure we'll talk
Yeah,
about it again next week before we go off for one small little break. And Dom, I'll let you.
I just want to put out in the chat. House of Naboo says, "Can we bring Jackson with us for the episode of
Yeah.
the 20th?" Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
useful. She
Yeah.
says.
Right. Hey, you know what I'll do is maybe I'll watch it with him just to see if he picks out things that maybe we didn't notice. Again, the
Yeah,
thing is,
yeah.
he didn't say anything. Like, he just spotted it and he didn't say anything. I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, you know his lightsaber? He goes, yeah, it was Darth Vader's. I'm like, what, dude? Like, call it out, man. I don't know, but it is what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Before you press play, I mean, say, tell me what you see.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Dom,
Cool. So I guess that's all for tonight, guys. I hope you had a good time. Thanks to James, House of Naboo, Steve from Relevant Studio for joining us tonight, and I guess we'll see you next week for the big Tron
mid-season.
appearance.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
assume, yeah. And until then, may the force be with you always.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.